नाज़रीन, शंघाई में पाकिस्तान में सरमायाकारी और तिजारत के मौक़े के हवाले से एक कॉन्फ्रेंस का इनेकाद हुआ और इस कॉन्फ्रेंस से वज़ीर-ए-आज़म इमरान खान ने खिताब किया। उनके खिताब की तफसील आपसे शेयर करते हैं।
Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Ladies and gentlemen, I heard President Xi speak this morning at the launch of the Shanghai Expo. And I remember the time when China was a closed society and when US was urging the world to open up their economies, remove the trade barriers. And I saw great irony that now it was China, led by President Xi, asking for free trade, remove protectionism. I'll just give you my take on this from my experience as a sportsman. During my sporting years, I saw two types of sportsmen. One sportsman who was worried about losing, and the other one who only thought about winning. Two different mindsets. The mindset which is scared of losing takes decisions out of fear, and such sportsmen only at best achieved mediocrity. The other one who thought about winning, they took risks, they took chances. They weren't scared of failure. They had setbacks. They faced much greater problems than the ones who played safe. But then they were the ones who became champions. So the difference between two approaches, one is out of fear, protectionism. That mindset will only have short-term gains. The other one, reflected by President Xi, is someone who's prepared to take chances and risks, and they will, in my watching him from now, I think he will lead China to greater and greater successes. So what can Pakistan learn from the Chinese experience? Number one, there is no substitute to long-term planning. Here is a country in the last 30 years which has achieved, which no country in human history has achieved. And that's because of the leadership has consciously planned for the long term. Where did we go wrong in Pakistan? We had leadership which only planned from one election to the other election. Short-term planning is the main reason why we have not achieved the vast God-given potential to our country. Secondly, a leadership that took a decision in China that there is no such thing, there is no development where a tiny elite gets rich and the rest of the people remain in poverty. They understood that development means lifting the bottom tier of the population out of poverty. And what they have achieved is really, for me, it is what every human society should aspire to do, to alleviate poverty. 700 million people in 30 years have been taken out of poverty. And this is the model which Pakistan should follow. Inshallah, we will follow that model. You cannot have a human society where there is a tiny rich elite and a sea of poverty. Unfortunately, in Pakistan, the rich have got richer and the majority have got poorer. And so we go back from China, learning from the experiences, all the steps we are going to take to alleviate poverty. Inshallah, in the next week or so, we will come up with a package of poverty alleviation in Pakistan, the first one, the first package of its type in our history. The next thing we learned from the Chinese experience is the importance of skill education, human development, but specifically developing the human beings with purpose, with skills. Initially, from what I can gather, Chinese working overseas were urged to come back. And then students were sent abroad for specific technical education. And this is really the most important thing we need to do in Pakistan. We need to have a population that is skilled. Even if we cannot afford right now higher education for most of our population, at least we can train them in skills. And this is the basis. You cannot industrialize, you cannot go into high-tech industry unless you have skills. We are very fortunate, well, unfortunate in a way because it wasn't intentional, but because we mismanaged our country, a lot of Pakistanis went abroad for education. Today we are fortunate that there are at least 8 to 9 million Pakistanis working abroad. Amongst these Pakistanis, we have skilled workers who have learned abroad skills, even as labor. But then we have businessmen, we have professionals. And so this is what my government will be targeting, trying to get skilled people back into Pakistan, trying to get them to work in developed institutions where we can find employment for them. But above all, we want to invite Pakistani businesses to come back and invest in Pakistan. And then what we learned from the Chinese experience is that their leadership kept evaluating themselves, self-analysis. One of the principles written on the Central Party School of the Communist Party, which I went yesterday, was to correct your mistakes. Learn from your mistakes. No institution, no country can progress which does not learn from its mistakes. If Pakistan had learned from its mistakes, it would not be where it is right now. We kept repeating our mistakes. And yet, in the last 30 years, there was a constant reevaluation in the Communist Party. It kept looking back, changing course, changing directions. What was the Communist Party 50 years ago? And where was China? Where was it 40 years ago? And then 30 years ago, the change it took, changed courses. In Darwin's famous theory about survival of the species, it's not the fittest who survive. It is the most adaptable who survive. And today, this is what we can learn from China. We have been working for a while, but we need to constantly evaluate our course. Where are we heading? What mistakes did we make in the past? What is the vision for the future of Pakistan? Where do we see Pakistan in 5 years, in 10 years, in 15 years, in 20 years? And this is, if one thing I've learned on this trip from the Central Party School, the brain, the think tank of the Communist Party, that we must have a think tank. Because we ministers, we have no time to think. The Prime Minister, the ministers, we are constantly, ever since my party has been in power for these 2 months, all we have been trying to do is to figure out how to get out of the crisis. We need a separate think tank which can sit back dispassionately, look at where we are performing, look at our various ministries, what they're doing, and constantly tell us, look ahead and say where we are going wrong, what is that we are doing right. So this is what we've learned. My team has learned that we will now go back and have a powerful think tank which will constantly be looking ahead and pointing how we can reach our vision. One of the things, and I must credit President Xi as a real statesman, one of the things they realized was the conditions must be made so that people want to invest. You must remove all impediments in the way of the investor. What is the world calls ease of doing business. You can only have ease of doing business if the cancer which creeps into every society is removed, and that is corruption. What corruption does is it makes it difficult for people to do business. And specifically the small and medium industry, which employs most number of people. The small and medium industry cannot function in a corrupt society. And so what did President Xi do? Mr. Wang, who's the vice chairman, I think, of the Communist Party, who's responsible, whose job it is to, in the Communist Party, to take care of corruption. It's called the discipline in the party. 400 ministerial level people have been investigated for corruption in 5 years. We look back in Pakistan and how many people have really been convicted of corruption. We convict the small crooks. It makes no difference at all because we do not have the political will to put the big crooks behind bars. Unless that happens, we will never be able to contain corruption. And unless we contain corruption, we will never be able to make it easy for people to do business. We will never be able to have the enabling environment for our people to come and invest, for the overseas Pakistanis, for the Chinese investors. So we go back with my resolve even more strengthened that we have to tackle corruption in Pakistan. And we have to do everything to strengthen all the institutions that deal with corruption. We, as the Secretary Industries mentioned, the advantages Pakistan has. Let me just say, the biggest advantage Pakistan has, we have underperformed in every sector. So there is so much potential. The moment we fix our governance, every sector can perform. We can actually increase our growth rate much quicker than other countries because every sector, by just proper management, can perform and double its output. Whether it is agriculture, whether it is in the industrial sector, minerals. Pakistan has abundance of minerals. We haven't even tapped, we barely tapped 10 or 15% of Pakistan's surface for mineral exploration. We have the whole areas where there's potentially gas available, barely 10% of that area has been explored. We have these huge coal reserves, we have copper reserves, we have salt, one of the biggest salt reserves. We have the most fertile land, which is the techniques used for agriculture are ancient. And this is again where we can learn from the Chinese experience because in horticulture, in fisheries, China is probably, the cage fishing China is probably way ahead of other countries. So here again, this relationship with China is going to be very beneficial for Pakistan because not only will we be able to get skills in various areas, but also help in all these sectors where we are underperforming. But Pakistan's greatest advantage is its young population. This is a vibrant force. We need to give this direction. Once you give direction to this young force of 100 million Pakistanis, this youth, impart skills, give them incentives. We have started this very ambitious program of building 5 million affordable houses in Pakistan in the next 5 years. This is where this young population can come in. The housing industry will will directly impact 40 industries in the country. So the chain reaction of this housing, which we are still short of, the need for housing in Pakistan is 10 million. There are 10 million, we have shortage of houses. So 5 million houses, building 5 million houses mean the whole economy starts moving. And this is where we hope to absorb this young population which we have. But we have been given a great opportunity by CPAC. This is a great opportunity for us. It is an opportunity where we can again invite investment into our special industrial zones. It is an opportunity of connecting with China. It is an opportunity of Gwadar being a hub in years to come. It is an opportunity for us. It is an opportunity where we can invite Chinese investors. We have spoken with various Chinese companies. They're all ready to invest in Pakistan as long as what we should fulfill our part of the bargain is making it easy for them to do business, removing impediments in the way of the investors. And that's what we are determined to do. Finally, I want to specifically address the overseas Pakistanis. Overseas Pakistanis, I've always maintained, is one of the biggest strengths of our country. I again repeat, they have the skills, they are outstanding professionals in every field, they have the capital, and I want to assure you that we will create the enabling environment to come and invest in Pakistan and work in Pakistan. This is my guarantee to you. I know all the problems faced by the overseas Pakistanis because when I was collecting money for the Shaukat Khanam Cancer Hospital, my biggest support came from Pakistanis working abroad. And because I was in touch with them, I know the problems they faced. And so our priority will be to make it easier for you. We are going to ask our embassies to extend every help to overseas Pakistanis. I have set up in the Prime Minister office we've set up a software where any overseas Pakistanis can, if they download that app, you can, if any complaints you receive, you can phone them. There's a toll-free number. You can email, or you can through your mobile, if you have a smartphone, you can just message there, and you will be responded immediately. We have a system now set up which will respond to any issues overseas Pakistanis feel that they need me to correct. As for the Chinese, I want to again reiterate that firstly, this trip has been way beyond our expectations. The hospitality given by the Chinese government, the meetings which we've had, the warmth and the hospitality which we've received, we go back feeling much closer to China. We were already very close to China, but today we go back feeling much closer to China. Thank you very much.
Your Excellency, President Xi Jinping, esteemed guests of honor, ladies and gentlemen, it gives me great pleasure today to lead the Pakistani delegation at the first China International Import Expo. I especially want to thank the President, the Chinese government, for the great hospitality accorded to me and my delegation. As the Belt and Road Initiative gives shape to a global community of shared interests, this expo will help spread dividends of freer trade amongst more closely integrated economies.
Prime Minister, Ministers, Chief Minister Balochistan, Secretary of Commerce, Ambassador, Pakistani Ambassador to Beijing, ladies and gentlemen, Assalamu alaikum, good evening. We are all here invited by the Chinese government to participate in the first China International Import-Export event. As you all know, 130 countries participated in this event. International organizations were present, and President Xi made a visionary speech in which he spoke about lifting China and connecting China to the world in more openness, and he spoke about connectivity, promoting multilateralism, openness, as opposed to forces that are propagating unilateralism and protectionism. As you all know, that Pakistan and China, we've had a unique relationship. It's unique because it is tested, it is trusted, it is all-weather. We've stood with each other over decades, and we trust each other. Our relationship has been strategic. Our relations and cooperation at multilateral forums is known to all of you. But today, there's a new turn to our relationship, and that is economic. CPAC has given a new meaning to our relationship. It is promoting investments, it is promoting connectivity, and it helps both countries, not just China and Pakistan, it helps the entire region. The entire region that we are part of can benefit from this opportunity. Secretary of Commerce has spoken about the opportunities that lie ahead of you, because I see a lot of Chinese businessmen who are interested in Pakistan, and I see Pakistani businessmen who are interested in China in this room. So there's a great opportunity, and we can avail this opportunity provided we are prepared. I just wanted to share that the Prime Minister was doing exactly that. Prime Minister came to this event recognizing the opportunity of promoting Pakistan and talking about the strengths of Pakistan and the opportunities of Pakistan. You'll be happy to know that out of the many pavilions that were exhibiting their products and goods today, President Xi, Prime Minister Medvedev, the President of Kenya, Prime Minister of Vietnam, they visited only 8, and Pakistan was one of them. That is the uniqueness of this relationship. Prime Minister, in his engagements in Beijing, has been talking to the leadership about how to build this relationship and how to promote economic investments in Pakistan. The situation that PTI's government inherited, the Prime Minister will speak can touch on it. And the Finance Minister is the best person. He knows the challenges he's facing. But there are opportunities. And you can make best use of those opportunities. We in the Foreign Office are here to assure you that we will promote and we will give importance to economic diplomacy while formulating the direction of our foreign policy. Very soon, we plan to invite ambassadors and envoys in differing trading countries to Islamabad to give them targets, investment targets and bilateral trade targets, so that this ministry, the Foreign Ministry, helps and assists the Ministry of Commerce and the Ministry of Finance for economic uplift of Pakistan. Prime Minister's vision, Prime Minister Imran Khan's vision is very clear. It is people-centric. He wants to promote jobs. He wants to see investments. He wants to see economic growth and stability in the country. Economic stability contributes to political stability. And obviously, political stability contributes to economic stability. He has a vision, and he will speak to you about it. Thank you.
इक़्तिसादी राहदारी के बायस कराकरम हाईवे शाहराहों के आलमी नेटवर्क में शामिल हो गई है
और ये शाहराह चीन, मशरिक़ वस्ता, जनूबी और वस्ती एशिया को गवादर बंदरगाह तक रसाई फराहम करती है। शंघाई में चीन की पहली बैनुल-अक़वामी दरामदी नुमाइश की इफ्तिताही तकरीब से खिताब करते हुए वज़ीर आज़म इमरान खान ने कहा कि सीपैक से फासलों और इखराजात में कमी वाक़ई होगी, जिसके खित्ते की मईशतों पर मस्बत असरात मुरतब होंगे।
मज़ीद तफसील से हमें आगाह करेंगे हमारे नुमाइंदे रियाज बरकी।
We have 100 million Pakistanis, a young, vibrant population. And the new Pakistan will be more conducive and more competitive place for transacting.
कौमी लिबास में मलबूस वज़ीर आज़म इमरान खान बैनुल-अक़वामी नुमाइश में शिरकत के लिए पहुंचे तो चीन के सदर शी जिनपिंग ने उनका पुरतपाक खैर मकदम किया।
Let's welcome Prime Minister Imran Khan of Pakistan.
वज़ीर आज़म इमरान खान ने रिवायती और तवील तकरीर की बजाय मुख्तसर और जामे खिताब के जरिए आलमी रहनुमाओं और दुनिया भर से आए हुए सरमायाकारों को सीपैक, इसके खित्ते पर मुस्बत असरात और पाकिस्तान में सरमायाकारी के मौके से आगाह किया।
The Karakoram Highway merges into a network of modern highways that are part of the China-Pakistan economic corridor. These take you to the deep sea port of Gwadar, the point where the belt and road converge, and this impacts not only Pakistan, but has an impact on all the economies of the entire region. CPEC shall cut distances and costs, bringing much needed resources to producers and new products to consumers. CPEC is a mechanism to forge even closer connectivity between the Middle East and China, Central and South Asia. It is opening fresh investment avenues, new markets, new vistas.
वज़ीर आज़म इमरान खान ने कहा कि इंतखाबात में उनकी जमात तहरीक इंसाफ ने तब्दीली के लिए मुहिम चलाई। इक़्तिदार में आने के बाद उनकी हुकूमत तमाम शोबों की बेहतरी के लिए बामानी इस्लाहात कर रही है। हुकूमत ने शफाफियत और एहतसाब के निज़ाम की बेहतरी का अज़्म कर रखा है। वज़ीर-ए-आज़म ने शुरका को बताया कि पाकिस्तान हर किस्म के कुदरती वसाइल, मुख्तलिफ मौसमों और नौजवान आबादी पर मुश्तमिल मुल्क है, जहाँ सरमायाकारों के लिए कारोबार के वसी मौके हैं।
We in Pakistan are blessed with an abundant array of resources ranging from minerals to fertile land, wealth of renewables, and the most diverse landscape with 12 climatic zones. But by far, our greatest and most promising resource is human. We have 100 million Pakistanis below the age of 35, a young, vibrant population. And the new Pakistan will be more conducive and more competitive place for transacting business.
वज़ीर-ए-आज़म इमरान खान ने कहा कि एक ऐसे वक्त जब बाज़ ताकतें एकतरफा इक़्तिसादी मफादात के हुसूल के लिए सरगर्म हैं, चीन के सदर शी जिनपिंग का ये बयान हमारे लिए बाइस इत्मीनान है कि चीन के दरवाजे तमाम मुल्कों के लिए खुले हैं और ये कभी बंद नहीं होंगे। रियाज बरकी, पाकिस्तान टेलीविजन न्यूज़।